Well, let's move on to that because the conventions are over and now the real scrutiny begins. And it's so bad we cannot keep up with his scandals, excluding what happened yesterday. And yesterday, by the way, he was in Maine, and people held up copies of the Constitution, as Kaiser Khan did, in silence at a rally and got booed out. Ironically, to the chants of USA, USA, USA. But I mean, his scandals in 24 hours. He had a Washington Post interview where he declined to endorse Speaker Ryan. He reiterated he wasn't going to endorse Senator McCain, John McCain, the former presidential nominee. He slapped out at Senator Kelly Ayotte of New Hampshire, saying she's given me zero support. He suggested that Americans should pull their ISAs, 401ks, out of the stock market. He said he always wanted to receive a Purple Heart, but having one gifted to him by a supporter was much easier. And there was a wonderful meme on the internet. We'll talk about that. He said the handling of sexual harassment has got to be up to the individual, and his son was even worse. He appeared to feud with a crying baby during the rally.
What happened?
Yeah. He reiterated that if the election is rigged, I wouldn't be surprised, and he's rallying his, redneck KKK supporters. The sitting president of the United States publicly called him unfit to serve and urged Republicans to withdraw their support of him. He accused Kaiser Khan of being bothered by his plan to keep terrorists out of the country and said he had no regrets about the clash with his family. We'll talk about the Khans in the B block. His spokeswoman, Katrina Pearson, suggested that Obama and Clinton are to blame for the death of Humayun Khan, his son, who died in 2004 when neither were in the executive branch at the time. Paul Manafort, the campaign manager, one of his allies, told John Harwood over at CNBC that the campaign chairman is mailing it in, leaving the rest of the staff suicidal. He's had sitting GOP congresspeople Richard Hanna, the former head of HP, Meg Whitman, and former Chris Christie aide, Maria Kamala, all say they plan to vote for Hillary Clinton. And the Washington Post released a transcript of its full interview, indicating, among other things, that he paused 5 times to watch TV coverage in the middle of the sit-down. And NBC's Katie Kerr said that Reince Priebus, the RNC chair, is apoplectic over his refusal to endorse Ryan and is making calls to the campaign to express his extreme displeasure. What's it take before they say farewell to this guy?
What do you make of these rumours? Well, there are 2 things, aren't there, that have come out that interest me. One is that he, I don't know how to say this really. I mean, he's such a joke, really, isn't he? But I mean, that there are genuine psychological issues in relation to Trump.
Well, Fox News went so far to say as they think there is a mental illness yesterday.
The Fox News said that.
Fox News,
right?
The right-wing mouthpiece.
And the other thing is, well, what do you make of this, guys? I mean, these rumours that he actually may quit.
Dario?
I don't know. Is there a mechanism for that? I mean, he could quit. There's nothing forcing him to run. But I don't know whether. I mean, I keep hearing rumours that there's going to be some kind of intervention. And they were talking the other day that Giuliani and I think Newt Gingrich as well were going to go in with various other Republicans and sort of say to him that this is just going to be a total disaster, but they were going to have to use his kids as a go-between because apparently he's not listening to any advisors apart from his children. And there was another piece sort of talking about how his I can't remember the guy's name now, the campaign manager is literally, and they're just dialing it in. They're just simply, coming in, doing their job, not really trying to impress upon him, what he should be doing. And it's just kind of like he is off on his own, really, just making it up as he goes along. And I think he does. I think the signs that he does want out. I mean, I think he's just getting to the point now where there may be some kind of issue with his kind of competency, but not in and of himself. But I don't think he knows whether he wants to be president or what he would do. And I think that is a really dangerous situation.
Well, there was a report on CNBC that I was watching a clip from Morning Joe. They said the ideal situation is that he loses by like 0.5 percentage point and then goes off and starts the Trump News Network.
Yeah, but I mean, imagine how many white hairs that would give us, during the campaign.
I want him to stay in. I don't want him to be able to quit, because I frankly think that if he does quit, whomever they replace him with is going to look miles better, no matter how much of a right-wing nut job they are.
Any sane candidate, if they could have put someone up who was moderately decent against Hillary would have been in real trouble. I mean, Hillary's doing well by just not really doing a lot.
Well, she's ignoring him.
Make the campaign about Trump. If Hillary makes it, yeah, exactly. Just letting him destroy himself.
I mean, she's following to a T my old philosophy that says, if you're in a hole, stop digging, and if you're not going to stop digging, then and your opponent wants to continue to dig, you hand them a fresh new shovel and offer them a glass of a nice cool drink.
And he's certainly doing that, isn't he?
He certainly is. I mean, he has just managed to put himself into such a hole, and I don't know how he digs himself out.
So if he did pull out, what would happen? I mean, would
well, the Republicans would attempt to convene.
Well,
they would attempt to come together and put a candidate forward. Most likely Paul Ryan. But the problem is going to be, the longer he waits, the more difficult it becomes to replace him, because you have 50 states, and each one of those states has rules and regulations about how you get a name onto the ballot. Okay. So it would require two things: a Herculean effort to get him off the ballot and put a new ticket on the ballot, because they had a convention.
Yeah, would you have to have another convention or something?
Well, there would be probably an informal convention over the telephones or somewhere, where they would get the state delegates and the state leaders of all the delegates, and perhaps all the delegates in a room. But it's a mess, no matter how you look at it.